I have been so nervous about today. I literally have not been sleeping all week. If I wasn't driving today, probably would need a drink. Do you want to drive? So we can get a little cocktail somewhere when we arrive. No, but seriously, it's been like 20 years since I've been back. Today we're on the road, heading back to my hometown in Peterborough, where I'm going to be eating like I did in high school, aka before the diet culture days. It's gonna be fun. Probably not a lot of vegetables, but it's gonna be fun. Super quick here, folks. I really want to talk about my sponsor today, Homeaglow. So I'm a super organized person, but I'm a very messy person. And this is quite the dilemma for me because I cannot feel organized when things are messy. So I really appreciate the value of having someone with actual cleaning skills who sees a pile and puts it away to come and lend some much needed support. So Homeaglow is a 5-star cleaning service with super affordable prices, way cheaper than most services that I've paid for in the past, and definitely worth it to save my marriage and my ability to get work done. But the way it works is you go to Homeaglow's website to choose the day and time that you're looking for and the duration of your cleaning, and you'll be able to see all the available cleaners along with their background checks, photos, and reviews. So if you have someone that you've worked with before, you can rebook that same person and you can schedule it for that week or like a month from now if you want to rebook your cleanings on a regular basis. You can also sign up for their Forever Clean membership, which saves you $30 an hour on future cleanings or unlimited cleanings for $19 an hour, all of which are backed by their happiness guarantee. And the cleaners are really super incentivized to do a good job because 100% of the cleaning fees and tips go directly to them. I don't know about you, but I just feel like I can work so much more efficiently and calmly when I'm not living in chaos. Take home cleaning off your plate using Homeaglow. Head to homeaglow.com/Abbey Sharp or scan the QR code to get your first 3 hours of cleaning for only $19. Country roads, take me home. I don't belong there anymore. I hope. Peterborough. We're just driving past and we had to check out my old elementary school. I was here since grade 5 through grade 8, I guess. And my strongest memory was going to the dance, the school dance, and, dancing like this. Was it like this? No, hands up here. Time after time. It's basically all I got. Simple times. Oh, pizza day. Yeah, pizza day was the best. So that was my house. The trees are gotten a lot bigger than I feel like I remember. And in my head, of course, as a small child, the house was much bigger as well. But it was a very nice little place to grow up. It was super quiet and our friends down the street, I could just run down the street and knock on their door and be like, hey, do you want to play? We make up some kind of make-believe games about we were animals or aliens or something going on. Maybe the Spice Girls. But yeah, it was a simple time. And honestly, in high school, I don't think I recall ever having breakfast at home. We were teenagers, we rushed out the door, we had to get out really early because my mom worked next door to school. So I basically always ate my breakfast at school. And I'm gonna show you what were some of my favorites when we get there. I knew there was a reason I left this place. What the is that? Come on, Brody, getting out of here. So weird, so weird to be back. I mean, it's literally been 20 years. It's not actually a school anymore, which is too bad because it was one of the oldest schools in the area, established 1827, I think it says. But I have a lot of good memories and a lot of not so good memories. This school actually had a little bit of an arts program, so I was an art student and therefore I was a bit of a misfit. I guess I still kind of am, a bit of a weirdo. And yeah, people were just not always kind to us art students. Even my teachers used to make fun of us. My science teacher used to make fun of me, calling me an artsy fartsy or whatever. And now that I am a scientist,
yes, science!
I kind of want to call him up and say, hey, you shouldn't count me out. Because, arts kids can do great things in science too. But yeah, these were definitely simpler times when it came to food because I'm pretty sure I started my day every morning, not with a balanced breakfast, but I would come to the cafeteria, I'd get chocolate milk, and I'd get a chocolate chip cookie. Oh, and these ones are not bad looking. This is obviously not from the cafeteria, but the calf cookies were like as big as my head, and they were very undercooked and literally just raw in the middle. And to my knowledge, none of us ever got sick. I mean, I don't know how that would fly today, but they were so good. Oh, they were like that big. And we would just eat a cookie for breakfast, have our chocolate milk. And if the cookies were not ready in time, I would literally eat sour Skittles for breakfast while watching the boys play basketball. So yeah, breakfast of champions here. I mean, this one's good. I haven't drank chocolate milk in years. My kids are obsessed with it. I'm not mad about this little breakfast snack here. It is very, very yummy. But my teeth already hurt just thinking about the Skittles. And I cannot believe I just would eat this at like 7 in the morning before school even started. Oh, I'm sorry for you guys who love candy. This is not it for me. Brody, no Skittles. All yours, baby. You know, my mom had a really lax approach to food, which obviously I'm very, very grateful for. I know without a doubt that my eating disorder had nothing to do with my family, because they were not almond moms or dads. They were never pushing like, you know, any kind of restriction onto us. And they were totally fine with us having chocolate milk and cookies and Skittles for breakfast if we're old enough to make our own decisions. And these were the decisions that we made. But yeah, I kind of would end up getting to school earlier than most people because my mom worked here. She didn't work for the army. It's now like an army base. And it always was an armory, but she owned a Montessori school, which kind of was operating out of the armories there. And I always did a lot of the before and after care for all the kids. So I taught private music lessons for them there. I did kind of like the daycare. I helped clean, I helped organize. It was a really nice way to grow up and kind of dip my toes into taking care of kids, which obviously I have a passion for today too. Well, let's go for a little walk downtown and I'll show you some of the places that my friends and I used to go for lunch. Oh, I was so looking forward to having Pete's. So one of our favorite places to go for lunch in high school was this place that was called Pete's, and basically it was like a submarine shop, and I would eat a whole foot-long submarine with like meat and cheese and whatever else, mayo, and get these like really amazing spicy curly fries. And to me, that was just like a perfect balanced meal, right? Like I had my carbs, I had my protein, I had my fat, had my fun, my fries. And yeah, like there was no calorie counting. There wasn't me thinking in my head, oh, if I have the cheese, I can't have the fries. Oh, if I have the fries, I can't have a full sandwich. I need to have half a sandwich. Oh, I should only have a few fries. There was never any of that food chatter, right? I ordered and I ate what felt good to my body. And Pete's definitely felt good. But anyways, I'm hoping some of my old stomping grounds are still around. So let's keep hunting. So as an artsy fartsy, as they called us, we would spend a lot of after hours in the neighborhood. You know, we would have a lot of rehearsals for different shows we were doing, talent shows. I mean, my favorite memory performance-wise from high school, maybe in total from high school, was the time that we had a talent show. My best friend and I, actually like all of our friends, decided to put on the VMA Madonna and Britney kissing situation. Naturally, I was Britney, and my best friend, who's gay, he played Madonna, and he did a fabulous job. And we had the best time, and we made out on stage in front of everyone, including my boyfriend, my mom, all of our teachers, and I got a little for it. But you know, so did Britney and Madonna, and I learned from a very young age that if you're not pushing boundaries, and if you're not making some people mad, you're probably not making an impact at all. So yeah, on long rehearsal days, we would literally come out here, downtown Peterborough, to a parking lot, go to the No Frills, get ourselves a half-price baguette, some hummus for protein, and then, of course, a little Deep and Delicious, because I think they were like $2 at the time. I can see why it's 50% off. Little tough. Also, I just realized I don't have a fork, so savage, I know.
Give him one quick whisk here.
You want some, Brody? No. This is a private cake then, I suppose. Now that I've put my little fingers in there. Dreams and beans! Dreams of beans? We called it Dreams and Beans. I think it's Dreams of Beans, but I am just so happy it is still here. I mean, I was very disappointed about the Pete situation, but Dreams of Beans, I literally have dreams about. So when I was growing up, my father was very, very busy. He was studying to get his PhD, then he became a professor. And so I spent most of my daytime with my mom because she worked next door to us going to school. But it was really always such a treat when my dad came downtown and took me out for lunch. And by lunch, I mean cake, because we literally went to the cafe and just had a slice of cake for lunch. And there's a specific cake in my mind that I still dream about because it was that good. Had like honeycomb on the side. I'm just praying that they still have it. This is gonna make my whole year, my whole life. And I maybe can finally put all of these obsessive high school dreams to bed if I could just have this cake. Dreams of beans, don't let me down. Okay, so I got a little iced tea because that was a staple when I was growing up. I didn't drink coffee until, I don't know, maybe university. And they didn't have my cake, so I'm just gonna have to keep dreaming about it, apparently. Just haunts me in my dream, this like little honeycomb crunch on the sides and this like really sweet buttercream. It was so good. I gotta meditate on it. But I still want to support local business. So I got this cinnamon toast crunch, I don't know, marshmallow treat. I'm very excited to dig into this. I'm also gonna have to save most of it for Brody and my kids, which they're one and the same. Brody is one of my children. The cinnamon, that just hits different. Oh, a little spicy, so good. And I know a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, how could your parents let you just eat cake for lunch? But I'm actually so grateful for those experiences for a number of reasons. I mean, once we get older, especially as teenagers, we don't tend to spend as much quality time with our parents. And I'm so glad that I got to have those experiences with my dad without them being clouded by diet culture. That was like our special little thing. That crunchy honeycomb cake. And I'm also so grateful that I wasn't raised by my parents pushing these moral messages around food, you know, where cake wasn't bad and apples weren't good. I don't remember my parents ever using any kind of language like that. They served generally balanced meals as best as my mom could. And, you know, they saw us as young adults able to make our own decisions when we're out and about with our friends. And if I had cake for lunch, I was probably going to want vegetables or some fruit at dinner when I got home from school. But yeah, my parents tried their damn best without even knowing it to protect me from diet culture by allowing me to have this flexibility, by allowing me to make mistakes, by allowing me to explore my body's needs, etc., without any kind of guilt or shame. It was all the other competing messages around me that actually did the damage. Okay, so it wouldn't be a day in my life as a high schooler without going to the mall, because as a teenager, there wasn't a whole lot else to do other than to go to the mall after school, at least not legally. But whether or not we had dinner with our parents later on, which we usually did, we would always have to stop by the food court for a snack. So I'm gonna show you what I would usually get. All right, folks, pre-dinner or dinner is served. So this is basically a smorgasbord of some of the things I used to order when I come to the food court. Fries, of course, just straight up, like this would be the whole meal slash snack. Here we got a chicken Caesar wrap, which I mean, I still love me a chicken Caesar wrap today. But again, this was definitely my idea of being like a super, super healthy choice. And then Chinese food. But interestingly, I would only ever get the vegetable lo mein. I never would get any of the meat or the veg on the side. But again, knowing so little about nutrition and caring so little about nutrition, vegetable lo mein was like a very, very healthy choice to me because it was vegetarian. And vegetarian equated to healthfulness. And it's so interesting to see now how messaging has changed, and we've adapted so many different specific ideas about what constitutes healthiness. But anyways, the Chinese restaurant didn't even sell it on its lonesome, and I'm grateful for that. So I got it as a combo with some veg, which I desperately need right now. Broccoli. Broccoli just hits different when you've had cookies and like a cereal bar for breakfast. But you know, being in this place, I have to say, feels so familiar. Like it looks very different than it did when I was growing up, but the feeling is the same. And I think the reason why high school years had such a heavy imprint on me, like I literally dream about high school every night. I don't know why, but I can't shake it. But I think it's because my life just felt so much bigger then. So much bigger in the years before diet culture took its hold. When I wasn't thinking about how many calories were in something, when I wasn't hating my body, when I wasn't trying to think of how many calories I could burn by dancing, I was just dancing because I was having fun and enjoying it and enjoying life. Like my world just felt so much bigger before I knew that much about nutrition. Like the relationships, the parties, the late nights, the trouble, just the fun. You know, it was just such a simpler time. And I guess I just have a lot of nostalgia in it because of the trauma that I experienced basically immediately coming out of high school and tumbling into an eating disorder and having to work so hard to get myself out. So hard to be able to see the fries and the lo mein noodles and the chicken Caesar wrap and think, it doesn't matter. Like, food is food is food is food. And at the end of the day, I know my body today, and it wouldn't feel good just having fries as a snack. Oh, but these fries are damn good. Salty, but really, really good. Okay, last nostalgic pit stop before we hit the road. I had to go and get a blue Slurpee. So this used to be a 7-Eleven, and we used to come here with our $5 a week allowance, walk, you know, on the busy road, get our Slurpee, and then just like sit on a curb. So let's go stretch our legs, relax a minute before I've got to drive home in traffic. They also had cheese curds randomly, so I had to get those, obviously. Oh, it's sweet. It tastes like one of those coolers that you drink when you were young, but without the alcohol, which is probably even worse. I just have a few final thoughts here because I know that a lot of my followers are, you know, teens and young adults, and I just want you to take one very important thing away from this video. Do not diet. You know, adolescence and childhood is not a time to be restricting in any capacity. I mean, ideally, we don't get into dieting at any age or phase of the life cycle, but childhood and adolescence is a time of rapid growth and bodily discovery. And as an elder millennial, I have to say that my relationship with food growing up was very different than a lot of teens today because A, you know, our parents didn't know a lot about nutrition like a lot of parents do today. So, you know, like the whole almond mom thing, they existed, but they certainly weren't what they are today. And B, most importantly, we didn't have social media like bombarding us non-stop with diet culture rhetoric and food fear-mongering. And yes, the 2000s were unkind in pop culture, but thankfully my exposure to that was at the end of my adolescent years and also just could never be as pervasive as social media. You know, I really truly believe that as parents, our job is to try to expose our kids to as many different types of foods without any kind of morality attached. We shouldn't be teaching our young kids how to identify different versions of sugar or toxic ingredients on the back of packaging when you're at the grocery store, like some wellness influencers do for their kids these days. Like, that shouldn't be a flex. And obviously, as you've seen today, a lot of the foods that I ate while I was at school with my friends and buddies weren't necessarily the most nutritious. But because they were never put on a pedestal or given any moral weight or restricted, I never felt like I had to overeat them when I got the chance. Nothing was off limits in my childhood. And I'm really grateful for that. It wasn't until I left my parents' home and I finished high school and I kind of like left that food neutral bubble and I was exposed to the rest of diet culture that things really went down south. But I'm very, very confident that had I never been exposed to dieting after high school, I would have never become as obsessed over nutrition as I did, which of course was what fed into my eating disorder. And for people who are seeing all of the quote unquote junk food I ate in high school, I'm happy to report that I don't eat lo mein for lunch every single day. I'm not addicted to blue Slurpees. As you can see, I don't even want to drink this. I'm gonna bring it home and give it to my husband because I know he will. So if you are a young person watching this, please take this as a cautionary tale. There is so much more to life than just numbers and calories and macros and portions and, body weight. Your world becomes so small when you're obsessing over the calories in a pack of Caesar dressing. If you're interested in nutrition, and of course I encourage you to be, that's why you're here, that's why I encourage you to be here, try to think about counting colors, not calories, and hold on to that innate body wisdom for as long as you can. Well, folks, my husband's been calling me and probably needs some support. So on that note, I'm gonna hit the road. I've got lots of leftovers and little treats to bring for my kiddos and hubby. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun and nostalgic for me to come back for the first time in 20 years. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it the thumbs up. Leave me a comment below with your thoughts, what you thought was healthy or unhealthy when you were a young person and how that's changed over the years. I think this is all really interesting stuff. And I will see you next time on Abby's Kitchen. Bye.